You know, if you ever question the motives of Democrats on how they treat the American people over illegal immigrants, then by now it should be crystal clear that they care more about the unregistered Democrats illegally crossing our border every day than they do about you, the American citizen. The Biden administration is now suing the governor of Texas, putting up a floating wall to stop the invasion into his state. Let's get into it. I remember when Barack Obama told Arizona Governor Jan Brewer that the federal government just didn't have the manpower to stop the illegal aliens from crossing over our border into our country. And so the governor got the legislature to create a law that would resolve this and help the federal government. And I remember the Obama administration then sued the governor on the grounds that the Congress had the sole authority constitutionally over immigration. Now, what's going on right now is the same thing in the Biden administration, that like the Obama administration, they are letting millions and millions of illegals cross our border and enter into our country. And they're doing little to nothing to stop the flow without caring one iota about what it's doing to their own citizens in their towns that are being invaded. And they fight legally, claiming that only the federal government has the authority to stop them, and they decided that they're not going to stop them. This is bullshit, and it's happening right now in Texas. The Department of Justice just sued Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Monday over a floating barrier that was put up over the Rio Grande to prevent migrants from crossing into the United States from Mexico. It was like a wall, only it floats. The illegals would see it and figure that they can't get over it. And that fucks with the Biden administration's goal of changing our country to be flooded with a bunch of third world paupers that we owe a living to for the rest of our natural lives. The administration's complaint is asking a judge to order Texas to remove the 1,000-foot line of bright orange wrecking ball-sized buoys, which the Biden administration claims raises humanitarian and environmental issues. Are you fucking kidding me? Joe Biden has created the worst humanitarian crisis on our border, in our border towns, and now everywhere, because everywhere in the United States is now a border town, thanks to Joe Biden. Governor Abbott started shipping these third world criminals to blue cities that identified as sanctuary cities. The thinking was that the Democrats who run those cities would become overwhelmed and would argue against the Biden administration's lawlessness at the border by doing little to nothing to stop the invasion of illegals coming into the country. But what Abbott didn't count on was that the Democrats in those jurisdictions where the illegals were being shipped to, they act like they're part of the Borg, in that they all think alike and they all have the same goal and purpose, which is to destroy the American system and replace it with a utopian heaven on earth that doesn't exist. So busing the illegals to sanctuary cities didn't work because the Democrats have no goddamn sense. So Texas built a floating wall to protect their people, the very people that the Biden administration does not want to protect. The next president that gets in should kick them all out. I don't want to hear the leftist bullshit arguments. Oh, the children, they're going to be harmed. You can send these people back. Yes, we can. Certainly we can send them back. They came here under false intentions. They broke our laws and they came in over the border illegally. Send them back. The checkbook is closed. Send them back. Prior to the case being filed, Abbott wrote to Joe Biden on Monday defending Texas's authority to build the barrier. He said that Biden was putting refugees' lives in danger by not doing enough to stop them from coming to the U.S. If most Americans knew about the treacherous journey that these people go through to get here, and how parents send their daughters off alone with birth control because they know that their daughters are going to be raped on the journey here, and they would shut this thing down. They'd say shut it down now if people knew this. So the ideology of the Biden administration is that putting up a buoy system to block the illegals is harmful to the illegals because it stops them from being able to sneak across our border illegally and enter the country. Have you ever in your life lived under such a fucked up administration? Do you remember when Trump was president and the Mexican government got in line and started blocking illegals at their own southern border? And the ones that snuck through, they kept them on their side of the border until they were processed properly in the United States? Well, now we have Mexico's Secretary of State requesting federal intervention, claiming that these buoy barriers somehow breach international accords. Can you believe this shit? Here's something that CNN and MSNBC are not going to tell you. Most of these people are claiming asylum when they get caught, because they don't get caught. They never claim asylum because, obviously. So if you claim asylum, you have to prove that you are a refugee. That's international law. And if you are determined to be a refugee, international law says that you must claim asylum in the first country you come to that does not have war and the government is not persecuting you. For all of these third world paupers who are bleeding us dry, that would be Mexico. And the government of Mexico understands this. And there are reports that they are helping the illegals get to our border and get over our border because they don't want them either. And they know that Joe Biden is a real fucktard that they can get over on. That's the truth. In all seriousness, the administration is causing nightmares for everyone involved. And they clearly do not care. They're all going home to bed every night after having a fabulous dinner and sleep in a warm bed without a care in the world about all the American citizens' lives they are destroying with this. Our founding fathers wrote checks and balances into our federal government, but they never dreamed that they would have to do checks and balances within each branch. And the check and balance would be between an evil elected president and the people of the United States. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.